Young Chinese are being forced to make unconventional decisions due to long work hours and a depressing employment market. An increasing number of full-time children are being forced to return to their cozy homes because they're either in need of a vacation from their demanding work lives or they're unable to find employment. The Chinese youth, who were always encouraged to work hard in their studies in pursuit of degrees, now feel stuck and disappointed. Why is this happening? Let's see. Given China's historically terrible work-life balance, the country's work culture is commonly referred to as the so-called 996, where people think it the usual to work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. The burnout leading working adults to become full-time children is not altogether surprising. A record number of young Chinese people, more than 1 in 5, are unemployed, their career aspirations at least momentarily hampered by a weak labor market, as the economy battles to pick up speed following a protracted battle with COVID-19. China is by no means the only country where adult children return to the nest. Many Chinese also live in extended families. However, according to some metrics, the job market for young people in China is at its worst in generations, and many of them are dealing by seeking solace with their parents. In June, the urban unemployment rate for people aged 16 to 24 hit a record high of 21.3%. When the government ceased releasing age-specific statistics in July, there was concern that the politically sensitive numbers had increased even further. According to Zhang Dandan, a professor of economics at Peking University, the unemployment rate would be more than twice as high as the official figure of over 20% in March if full-time adult children were included in the calculation. Zhang made this claim in a July op-ed published in the Chinese business magazine Caixin. The Communist Party in power, which is in charge of a sluggish, post-pandemic economic recovery made worse by a decline in the housing market, finds the lack of jobs to be a sensitive issue. Comparing April through June to the same time last year, when areas of China were subject to harsh COVID-19 lockdowns, the economy increased at a 6.3% annual rate. As other significant economies slack off, exports have been declining. In China, the official rate of urban unemployment is 5.3%. Although young people are disproportionately affected, Beijing has taken tough measures against sectors like high-tech and education that often employ recent college graduates during the past 2 years. This resulted in widespread closures and layoffs in both industries. Although there is a labor shortage in other industries like construction and agriculture, most college grads prefer less physically taxing white-collar jobs. A quarter of this year's grads, according to research by online employment company Zilin Zhaopin, wanted to work in technology. The director of the Max Planck Institute for Social Anthropology in Germany, Zhang Bao, stated that there are employment prospects, but they are of low quality. So it's very difficult for the only child of a family who received education, who grew up in a so-called time of abundance, to embrace that kind of job. There is no indication that the unemployment issue is causing considerable political upheaval, but late last year, protests against the government's strict zero-COVID regulations erupted nationwide, posing the most direct threat to the party in almost 30 years. The increased anxiety, disappointment, and confusion generated by college students could undermine trust in China's economic future, according to an official assessment from November. In June, Chinese President Xi Jinping resorted to the standard Communist Party advice to toughen up, telling young people to eat bitterness, that is, put up with the hardship to build a better China. The Communist Youth League pushed recent graduates to roll up their sleeves and embark on blue-collar occupations earlier this year. According to Zhang, full-time children are using their parents' income to wait out the employment crunch, take some time to themselves, and study for tests for relatively secure government jobs or postgraduate studies, rather than swallowing their bitterness. The rise also reflects shifting attitudes among parents who, in the past, would have pushed their kids to achieve academically and socially, but now place more emphasis on their mental health, particularly when they witness their kids struggling in real-world situations. After decades of consistent economic progress, many parents now have the resources to support their grown children more since they have a certain level of financial security. Those in their mid-30s who have a mortgage on their heads or are considering establishing a family face a struggle as a result of the two-edged sword of ageism and the absence of employment alternatives. University students are no less sad, and some have resorted to failing their exams in order to put off graduation. Chinese social media has recently been inundated with unusual graduation pictures that reflect the disenchantment of recent graduates. Some depict young people lying flat while wearing their caps and gowns, while others show them holding their diplomas above trash cans and getting ready to throw them away. In the past, going to college in China was a privilege. However, enrollment rates increased from 30% to 59.6% between 2012 and 2022, as more and more young people began to view college degrees as a passport to improved prospects in a cutthroat labor market. However, as the job market collapses, aspirations have given way to disappointment. According to experts, as a record 11.6 million new graduates enter the market, youth unemployment is set to get worse. The circumstances are not good. People are attempting to avoid things because they're exhausted. Miriam Wickerstein, general manager of Shanghai-based employment agency Direct HR, stated that there was a lot of misery. The high unemployment rate in China is mostly due to the country's slower than expected post-COVID economic recovery. Because of ongoing COVID lockdowns, some firms are also less eager to hire graduates with blank paper degrees who have less job experience than their predecessors, according to Mr. Pang. The job market has also been stifled by China's recent crackdowns on sectors popular with young Chinese professionals. Jobs have been lost as a result of regulations against significant digital businesses, limitations on the tutoring sector, and a ban on foreign investment in the private education sector. Although the Chinese government is aware of these issues, it has made an effort to minimize them. Chinese President Xi Jinping called on young people to eat bitterness in a May article that appeared on the main page of the People's Daily newspaper, a Chinese Communist Party publication. Meanwhile, state-run media has made it their mission to redefine unemployment. The term slow employment was introduced in an editorial last week in the state-run Economic Daily. The paper claimed that while some young Chinese are in fact jobless, others have actively chosen slow employment. The newspaper recommended individuals take action and work hard, no matter how difficult the job market was, and as long as they did so, they wouldn't have to be concerned about being unemployed. The slogan and the advice, however, have not been well received, given the reality of the labor market. Some people have praised their government for its refusal to acknowledge the unemployment situation, while others have responded with sarcasm. On China's Weibo, a service similar to Twitter, a user said, "Chinese writing is so profound. Despite the fact that we are unemployed, officials invented the term slow employment. What would be the speed? Several years or a few months?" The Chinese version of Instagram, Xiaohongshu, has another user who complained that the word pushes the responsibility on the young people all of a sudden. According to this justification, the employment rate in the US during the Great Depression in the late 1920s should have been 100% because the majority of people were in low-paying jobs. What a method to fix a worldwide problem. Joblessness is joblessness. It ought to be called what it is. Thanks for watching. For more videos like this, subscribe to our channel.